Okay, day 4 of my production diary. I didn't post a video on day 3, and I said that I have to post a video every day, but life interjected, and I'm fine with not posting a video if I, for instance, was, engaged in some sort of social contact. So, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the track yet, but I'm just going to quickly talk about my setup here, because I'll show you just how inept I am. My setup is this. Okay, so I have a M-Audio Profire 2626, which is the Firewire rack mount unit. That goes out to some speakers, some Genelec monitors, which I'm not using at the moment because I pretty much have to use headphones all the time when if I want to do sort of YouTube-y stuff. I mean, I will if I turn off the mic, then that's fine, but obviously having the mic hanging over me, which I do, a condenser mic, it could cause problems with feedback. So that does all the output, but what is actually my Cubase card is, for the ASO driver, is a RME 9652. And an interesting thing, I discovered an interesting thing recently that I've had for ages and I didn't even notice. So basically, if I how do I do this? Let's need to make this. Yep, I need to make this. I need to be able to talk. Right. Okay, so if I play here, right, this is what I had in my meter. So we've got basically a route coming from the 9652 that's going to come in and come out the speakers here, right? But I was testing capturing for YouTube, and what I noticed was that when I panned right and left, I was still recording mono. And what I discovered was that I actually, and this has been a setup for like too long, maybe like almost a year, right? What I actually had was two versions of this stereo signal from my 9652 coming into this, and one was mono. So these, see how this is panned to the left for the left channel, this is panned to the right for the right channel, right? What I had was this here, right? So I had two here. Now if I pan this to the right now, there's still sound coming out. So and I could not hear this. There's still sound coming out of this channel, and I was sitting there thinking, why can't I see data? I can't hear it as well. And what it was this mono here. If I did this properly, I did it right. No, I did this. I did that completely wrong. Oh, that's better. Oh, that's okay. That's me speaking. Sorry, that's me speaking there. So that's what it should be, and you can hear the panning there. But what I had was a mono signal and a stereo signal playing at the same time, and I'd been making music at Cubase for maybe like 12 months and not noticed that. So yeah, just just an introduction to how I'm not hearing what I should be hearing. Anyway, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with this track. I'm actually, I don't know, I didn't really mind what I hear. It's not, it's pretty simplistic, but at least it has some sort of flow to it. It has a decent flow to it. Maybe I can do something okay with it, but this is where things could go wrong. But I'm hoping that I can stay on target and not get sick of it and stuff it up, which is always the risk. So yeah, I'll be back when I figure out what I'm going to do. Okay, a little bit later. So I have opted to just basically riff on what I had, basically see if I can find something that goes over the top, and pretty much anything will go over the top, particularly what I had before I sort of changed. I mean, if you watch day one, then it's pretty different to what day one is. Quite a lot of the things that I added in the day two, and then subsequently sort of throughout almost, they're still in the same key, so they pretty much just don't sit on it pretty well. I did make a mistake of compressing a lot of these things, only subtle compression, and then putting the gain up like about 8 dB, basically using the compressors as gain. But then I realized that every time I added a synth, I had to therefore then compress that and add gain, further gain to it, just to keep it up with the status quo. So I've pretty much cut that all out. There's just a couple of bits of subtle compression on these, nothing like, basically nothing major. I mean, like, can we, I mean, yeah, not really a point in showing that one. Very soft. Okay, so getting on with where I'm going here. Got a few different vibes from this now. Yeah, I always struggle to find the words because I'm just basically making this up as I go along, obviously. So we got this sort of reverby type sort of higher lead, and I've been mucking around with that a little bit, quite a lot, a little bit. So I'll just play a tiny bit of, I'll just play this part here. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so that's interesting. It's a bit different, but it sort of takes the energy level of the track up. So then I was mucking around with this next line. I sort of realized that I can almost orphan this now if I go with this particular next bit, because I don't need it. It basically follows the same progression, but it's a little bit more interesting. But yeah, it is a lot of work. I mean, it's just, anyway, yeah. So yeah, so that's more kind of interesting. It does need, there's a fine line with this particular synth between, you can hear that each note is getting washed out a little, right? But if I just take something loses its flow, so it probably needs to be adjusted not through the MIDI. I can try and get it. You can't even really see that. Anyway, so that's where I'm going. I've got a little bit. I've doubled the bridge. I don't know whether I'll keep the double bridge though. It's just kind of, I like bridges because I like the contemplative moments in a song before you get your break. But obviously with this being so much more energy, I need to bring the whole track up. So yeah, so that's pretty common, like with my type of failures. I take the energy level up on one point, and then I've got to kind of like bring everything else up, and I kind of just get stuffed up because of it, amongst other things. Yep. Right, at the end of the day, haven't gone that far. Made a few minor changes. There's now got a comb filter on. Pretty subtle, but it does add a little bit to it. This bassy lower thing has got a filter, just pretty low amount of mixing there. It's just a subtle addition. What else? There's two different ways to add pro instruments in Cubase 6.5. You can right click and add instrument track, but the problem is it doesn't produce one of these nice little tracks here that allow you to write to the plugin preset parameters. So quite a few of these massive VSTs are just not actually here available to me, because I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 massive and 4 are visible. So it's better to add them as VSTs. I don't know whether there's any better way of doing that, but yeah. What else? This synth, the loud synth, pretty much takes over everything. It's the thing that's going to give this track character though, so I've kind of stuff around with it, modded this chorus here, which has pretty much disturbed the whole track, and maybe I might have to move it here or change the chorus. The entire track really. You'll hear that it's different. I've basically left the other choruses as they were. I haven't really changed much. I've got sort of like a really it's a bit of a lame synth. It's kind of like almost like trancey, like a trancey pad type thing going on here. But yeah, okay, so I'll just play it and then exit. Basically nothing happens until after about here, so I'll play to about here and then that'll do. Alright. And I should point out that this is just sort of mucking around with a lead. Yeah, I definitely do need to point out that I can't just play that. So it goes pretty weird, but whatever. Okay, so as you could hear, this part here kind of really does stuff it up, and maybe I have to throw it out because it does shift the whole track. Even though it's interesting, it takes the track in a whole different way, and you lose the continuity. I thought maybe I could dump it in after the bridge, but I think maybe I'll just throw it out. Anyway, good night.